All right, you guys, we are on lesson. I'm going to write this here. Lesson 27, and this is practice problem number 1. Lesson 27, practice problem number 1. So the rest of the problems that you will be working on today are going to be story problems. And when we try and solve a story problem, what we want to do is first we want to model the problem. That's step 1. Step 2 would be calculate and then and then write a statement. And step 3, you're checking your work. You're assessing the solution for reasonableness, okay? So that's checking your work. So for problem 1, let's read it together. You can read it with me in your head or out loud. Mrs. Silverstein bought 3 mini cakes for a birthday party. She cuts each cake into quarters and plans to serve each guest 1/4 of a cake. How many guests can she serve with all her cakes? Draw a model to support your response. So we are going to kind of chunk this, and we're using the cubes method, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to chunk it. Let's do the first sentence. Mrs. Silverstein bought 3 mini cakes for a birthday party. That is your whole. What number is your whole? 3. Okay? 3 is our whole. And can we draw anything from that one sentence there? Yes, okay? We can. And what can we draw? Good. So step 1, we can draw our tape diagram. And we know that the whole is 3 cakes. The whole is 3 cakes. Each third represents 1 cake. That is what I can draw just from that first sentence. Let's move on to the second sentence. She cuts each cake into quarters and plans to serve each guest 1/4 of a cake. What can we draw here? So what we can do is we are going to cut each cake. So each cake is going to be cut into quarters. You got it. So each cake just got cut into quarters. So let's see, there's our other number that we need there from the cubes method. Now, how many cakes can she serve how many guests, can she serve with all of her cakes? So there's a couple ways for you to figure this out. You can simply count the cakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that means splitting those 3 cakes into quarters each, we know that she can serve 12 guests. Another way to solve this is by taking your whole number, our whole that we started with, and we divided our whole into quarters, right? We divided each cake into quarters, and there were 3 cakes. So 3 cakes divided into quarters. And when we do this, think about how we just solved that on that fluency practice. We took our whole number, or our first number, and we changed the dividing sign into a multiplication, and then we write the reciprocal of the second number, which would be 4/1. And our answer here, we get 12/1, which equals 12 guests. So we just calculated. Step 2 is to calculate to solve and write an equation. So we just calculated, and now we have to write a statement. So what is your statement going to say? Remember your question here. How many guests can she serve with all of her cakes? You are writing the question in your statement. So she can serve 12 guests with all of her cakes. And step 3, you are checking your work. Step 3, you are checking your work. So we know that our equation here equals 12. And so to check our work from what we learned yesterday, you take your quotient and you multiply it by the second factor. So we have 12 times 1/4, which is the same thing as 12 over 4, which equals 3. Okay, and our answer should equal our whole. So we got this correct.